hmm
We are live.
What's up?
Hey everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Angela O'Hare, your favorite Las Vegas realtor.
And I'm Rob Howe, Rockstar Realtor.
And thank you for joining us today. We will be discussing October 2024 numbers, which is
Mhm.
kind of interesting. Now that the election is over, the
Yeah.
title of this video is called, let me just double check. Will Las Vegas home prices drop after the election? We have had a lot of clients, or I'm sure Rob has as well. We're waiting in to see what the election results were going to be before they would even move forward. But before we talk about that, how are you doing, Rob?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Ange. How about you?
Doing good. It's
Yeah.
the weather's finally turning.
Yeah, we have a real fall happening.
Yes, but I don't miss the winds.
No, the winds, I mean, even as a tennis player, I just not excited when the winds come around.
We had a nice summer without hardly any winds, right?
Yeah.
But it was a very hot summer. And yesterday was beautiful. It was in the low 70s.
Yesterday it was like,
It was
yeah,
gorgeous.
heaven.
And then today was supposed to be beautiful. And then we got the winds going. Yeah. So other than that, just waiting for, the holiday season's fast approaching.
I had a great Halloween, spooky season, as
Nice.
my lady and I like to call it.
Let us know if you guys can hear us. Make sure we want this to be as interactive as possible. Feel free to join in at any time. We love when you interact with
Absolutely.
us. Because it helps us on our toes.
Yeah,
it keeps us on our toes.
Throw
right?
us something that we might not see coming. We want it. We want it.
So as we were mentioning, is the market going to shift in Las Vegas? Now that the election is over, we have Donald Trump as our president. What do you foresee the market heading?
Well, so I've always thought, like, no matter who won, you're going to release a certain amount of people from any tension or concern maybe that they have. So there was always going to be a certain amount of people that are going to be happy and suddenly feel motivated to do things, and for their various reasons. Some of that has to do with politics and who's running the show, right? So I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, if you're going to say one thing specifically about this election that might be make sense, is the fact that Trump did win by basically national mandate,
right?
And in Nevada won pretty big. I mean, compared to what we might have thought.
But the funny thing is that you saw Las Vegas was all blue and the rest of Nevada was red.
Yeah, but it's still a bit of a, if you look overall, you got so much there that I think it even comforts people who weren't voting for him to say, you know what, okay,
right.
Because a lot of people were worried, is this going to be a hangover thing where there's a fight over who won, that stuff, right? So I think there is a collective relief, even for those who might be mourning, as I've heard. I haven't seen it, but I've heard people crying about it, and I'm sorry that people feel that I'm sorry that people have been made to feel so scared that one change like that in our country is going to really hurt them. And I don't know if some of that's fear that's been implanted in the media over the years, or
of course media has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, but so that all what it matters to us and to you when you're thinking about real estate, and especially in Las Vegas, to me, I think it will free up people. I think it already has. I think
prime example, look at the stock market as soon as he won, and crypto. And they're still going crazy.
Yes. So it really,
people have more confidence in their spending.
Exactly. You know what you're dealing with a little bit, and that's certainly when you're looking at the stock market.
Right.
That's what they're like, oh, this is actually happening. And it's crazy. The polls were so close.
Yes.
Everybody's like, oh, we don't know what's going to happen. And then suddenly it happens. And it's again, I think that mandate thing is a big deal, where, you just have a big win for one side. And then everybody goes, okay, this is what we're dealing with. Now we know.
Yeah. I think with the new president, I think that will help the housing market. I think, in my opinion, that we are going to be stable for the next month or two. And as usual, once our typical spring selling season comes, we're going to blow up.
Yeah, I think we were thinking this anyway, right?
Right.
I mean, we were thinking that once we get through the end of the year, a traditionally slower time anyway,
Right.
that we would sort of see the takeoff again, the flight taking off.
But here's the thing is that
Mhm.
a lot of my clients say they're waiting after the election, right? Waiting for the interest rates to go down. People think, and it goes to all the doomers, that things are going to crash. I feel that we are not there yet, or will we be there this year or even next year?
Well, my observations of what's actually happening in the market, and we're going to go over those numbers. Obviously, we can tell you what happened last month,
Right.
but what I would say is my little prognostication, which is just me looking at the numbers.
Right.
I'm seeing that we are continuing to go up in inventory, and inventory is always the story, right?
Yes.
If you got more inventory, it usually means good things for buyers, right? If it's less inventory, good things for sellers. Well, I'm seeing that we're climbing, but we have now reached where there's
a plateau.
Yeah, I'm seeing a resistance point,
Yes,
as I would call it. And so we did hit over 8,400. We actually backed off for a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, you're doing total.
I do total on market.
Right. I do single family.
Just single family. It's the same thing if you're keeping track of one or the other. You're just looking at how much those are going up, right?
Right.
8,400 went back down for a little. I thought, oh, geez, it's actually going down. Maybe we're turning. No, went back up to 84, but just staying around there.
Right.
So you're seeing that we do have a ceiling. So far, I can very easily tell that we are not seeing a big, overwhelming amount of inventory coming on.
No, not like we saw in 2022 when we had a tremendous amount of inventory once those first time those interest rates were increasing. But enough about this. It's all going to make sense once we go over the numbers.
Yeah.
And that way you can see what we're talking about. We are always about the true numbers. And after doing this for 4 years together, there's always a pattern.
Yeah.
Always a pattern.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we see the breaks, but there has been some wild things in our market.
I mean, there will be some thing that'll throw us off, but for the most part,
we're seeing
if you analyze the numbers, the pattern has been the same consistently for the last, not even just for the 4 years since COVID, but before then too.
Yeah. Right now, we are certainly seeing a pattern.
Yes.
And so let's
dive into it.
Dive into it. Yeah.
All righty.
Enough bloviating from Rob.
Well, so last month, let's put on my eyes. We were up. There were a total of 1,918 single family homes that closed in the month of October, which is up 7.1% from the prior month and up 12.9% from the prior year. So we were up in closings last month, which is shocking because the month before we were extremely down.
Yes.
Right.
It's a surprise. I think I know why, but should I say? I think that the interest rate movement mentally did move some people.
True.
So a half point interest, everybody was kind of anticipating that and said, okay, we'll get in now, even though it didn't turn out to really be much on the interest rate.
Yeah, it was more of the Fed side, right?
Yeah, that's my guess as to why we're seeing that.
But the median price went from 479,900 to 475,531, which was a 0.9% decrease from the previous month, but a 5.9% increase from year over year. So we're still above last year's median price.
Yeah.
We're actually above 2022. We're actually above 2021, which we're going to go over right now. So in 2023, the median price for October of 2023 was 449,000, which puts us year over year a difference of 26,531 increase this year over last year in median price. Okay. And October of 2022, the median price was 440,000. And then in October of 2021, the median price was 410,000. As you can see, we've been hovering around this 475 to 480 median price for consecutively for the last couple months, right?
Yeah.
Last few months at least.
Mhm.
Don't you think?
Yep. We're we're dipping back a little bit, obviously, with the median, but
It was like 4,000.
you consider all the factors that have been involved. You would think if you were told this story, hey, all these things are happening. We got higher prices, higher interest rates. The BBA, the
Yes.
buyers broke. This new agreement buyers have to sign, and all these things that sound like they're.
Well, I think that's why we had that from August, September. And then now everyone's getting acclimated to this new buyer brokerage agreement. The
Mhm.
interest rates are starting to decline a little. Things now, the president election's over. So I think we're
Yep.
going to have another uptick again.
I agree. I think absolutely. So we may. I don't know if that uptick's going to happen. I don't know if I should say this now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I don't know if that's uptick's going to happen this year.
Right.
Before.
We'll see a little at the end of this year.
Yeah, maybe more uptick in activity.
Yes.
But I think there's some deal shopping out there, and I also think there's some sellers out there that need to get their properties sold.
Yes.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see the median soften some more.
Right. Well, because I have a lot of clients that are out of state, they need to list their homes in their market. And of course, their market's not doing as well. So those people still have to list their homes and then relocate here. So you're right. We may not see too much of an uptick the remaining of the year,
Mhm.
but I know what you will see an uptick in, we're going to really preach it, is new construction.
Yeah. I mean, what uptick are you speaking of?
The move-in ready homes, but we'll talk about new construction as we go further into this market update. So stay tuned and watch. Okay. I think that's where my focus is.
Okay.
But again, what had a humongous increase in median price last month was.
Oh yeah, this was wild.
This was wild.
We don't usually bring this up in a way that we're about to, but we have to.
So the median price for condos and townhomes went from $299,500 to $315,000, which is the most all-time high as possible. This is an all-time record,
bonkers.
Right?
Yeah.
Which was up 5.2% from the prior month and up 14.3% from the prior year.
That was astonishing to me. What did I say when you said the numbers were out? I was like, "Wow." Did you see those? Condo and I just said, "Wow." Condo.
So what does that mean? Condos and townhomes are cray. And it's going to be hard to find anything under that 300 mark in reality.
It has been, yeah.
Back when we started this, the median price for houses were in this range, right? If not lower. So it's hard to imagine that the median price for a condo and townhome right now is $315,000. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, that nearly $16,000 jump that was not something I saw at all. Maybe obviously we're not that focused on the condo townhome market so much, but still, you're even from just side eyeing it. It's like, whoa, what just happened there?
Well, October of last year, the median price in condos and townhomes was $275,500, which is a $39,500 median price increase year over year.
I mean, it really does go to show what people have had to do, which is I have a buyer. Anecdotally, I have a buyer that last year they had a problem with their loan. They were buying a 570 house, I think it was, and they had a problem with their loan, couldn't get the house. This year they're buying. They're qualified for lower. They're happy to get a property at 350, and they're buying a townhome. But everyone's expectations have been slotting in.
Right.
They're slotting in,
Like in townhomes in Summerlin West, they're in that 500,000 range.
Oh,
can you imagine that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So in October of 2022, the median price for townhomes was $266,000. And in October of 2021, the median price was $236,000. So it has gone up tremendously in the last 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the good news is that you can still buy a home. These are still homes these are where you can buy a property and it's affordable.
Yeah, but the only
enough
thing is you got to think about when you do buy in a condo townhome, your HOA is a lot higher. You're going to
many
have
of them are.
many. Yeah.
That's a thing too. Yeah.
Yes.
Some of them, like right around the corner from here, there was one that it's almost like they're just expunging investors because their HOA for a small little community doesn't offer a lot. $400 a month.
Wow.
For a condo.
That's
and I was
ridiculous.
Yeah, but they keep it really nice. They better, but I think they wanted to expunge those investors and yeah.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of text and emails and phone calls from people? I'm looking for investment property. Can you help me out?
Of course.
Just
My
ridiculous.
boss is looking for.
Oh yeah,
a
lot of WhatsApp. We get a lot of. You can reach me through WhatsApp.
Yeah.
No, so many scandalous people out there.
Yeah. You know what? I will. Let's give a little advice. Actually,
Yeah.
if you're contacting an agent, just tell them. Sound like a human being. Tell them your name and hey, I'm looking to buy in Las Vegas. I'm looking to.
Yeah, because oftentimes we get so many spam phone calls that we don't even want to answer our phone anymore because half the times they're solicitors or those auto bots or whatever. But a lot of times they're people looking to like spam and scam us, right? So Rob made a good point. When you try to contact us, just say who you are, where you're from, what you're looking for.
Yeah, don't be afraid.
That way we know you're not one of those spammers.
Yeah. You know how I answer the phone now when it's an unknown call?
Right.
That's how I answer the phone. I just wait because if it's a spammer, they'll hang up.
That click.
If it's somebody that's real on the other line, they'll go hello, and then I'll go, oh hey, hello, how you doing? Because I still have to answer the call. You know, like I feel like obligated. That's how I do. You know, but yeah, if you know it's anyway, we don't want to complain to death, people, but
that is very good advice.
Just be open about who you are. Be a human being. We'll all appreciate it.
So we're going to talk about the luxury market. Last month, there were 112 homes that sold in October over $1 million compared to September's 127, which is a 15-home decrease. And there was also a decrease in median price. It went to 1.45 million, and the prior month it was 1.475 and change. So it was like almost a $25,000 decrease in median price, but it's still hanging in that 1.4 range.
Yeah. I mean, and the decrease again just makes sense with what you're seeing out there. There's just not as much buyer activity, but I think it's still pretty strong. And if we go back to where we were at the beginning, we were seeing under 100 sales oftentimes.
Right.
4
usually
years
this
ago.
time of year it was always that around that. 90,
so
80.
Still not bad. And what I'm seeing for inventory for the luxury market has been really, again, hitting that resistance point of 1,000 over $1 million properties on market.
Right. So
it's not really piercing that level. It's staying like 980, 990, or even lower. So, that's not a lot of it. When you boil it down to what you're looking for if you're an experienced buyer, I'm looking for this, 4 or 5 bedroom, single stories, pool in this area. You start boiling it down, and you really, out of 1,000 homes that you might have in the whole area,
only 3.
now you're boiled down to just a few. So it's staying stable.
Yes. So then that leads us to the number of new listings last month. We had 2,867 new listings, which is up 1.3% from the prior month and up 22.9% from the prior year. So last year, we must not have had that many listings. Let me see if I wrote an analysis of it. No. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember back to last year what was happening. Can't remember.
No, I can't either. All right. So then the available of homes on the market. Now, this number surprised me. We thought in our last predictions that it was going to go much higher than this. So I see a stabilization right now in the market. There were 5,784 single family homes listed without offers, which is up 6% from the prior month and up 37.3% from the prior year. So what I did was I went to see what those numbers were for the prior year, And in
Mhm.
2023, that number was 4,216. So we are had 1,500, a little over 1,500 less homes on the market last year.
Yeah.
But then in 2022, we had 7,906 single family homes listed without offers. So that means that we had 200 or 2,100 more homes in 2022 than we do now.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So 2022 is when people started hitting that panic button, when the interest rates, we started seeing the interest rate increases in June. And then that's when the market just flooded, right?
Yeah. Yeah. People made a good decision though back then. They wanted to get their home sold so they could go buy. Right. So they made a good decision making that trade-off at that time.
But when we hit December of 2022, the median price went down to 400 and around 25,000.
Mhm.
So right now we're at 400 and say what,
75.
75?
Yeah. 475.
Yeah, 475. So we're 50,000 above the median price. So it's going to be interesting to see where we land for this December. With the median
certainly
price.
not that low.
Yeah.
Not that low. I've been preaching this. I do feel like if you're a buyer and you want to have choice, you want to have the options, you want to be able to go in there and ask for things from the seller, maybe not even, pay for less than what they're asking. You have that option right now. It's out there. There are sellers who are willing to deal.
Well, right. Because what we are seeing is, and we'll get further explaining this, a lot of homes are staying on the market. A lot of homes are overpriced. You'll see price decrease after price decrease sitting on the market 30, 60, 90 days. That's when you as a buyer, and it's a perfect house, it's just not selling. And your agent can come in and just really just arm wrestle and get a smoking deal.
Yep.
Not only can we lower the price, but we'll ask for closing costs. And as we mentioned this in the previous market update, you use that part of that closing costs to buy down your rate.
If you so choose.
And
Absolutely.
then you can get a much lower interest rate.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's what the builders are doing.
And the reason why we're mentioning this is because we don't foresee that as time goes, you have these opportunities
right
as much.
Right. Exactly. So now is actually a good time to buy with all this inventory on the market, where you could probably get 2 points? At least 2 points. You can go down.
2 points as far as
interest rate.
Oh, you can't. Yeah, you can buy down to 2 points.
2
up
points.
To 2 points.
So if the interest rate's at 7 right now, you can get it to 5.
You could, yes.
Depending on how much money you have to put down.
Depending on the lender, depending on how much you have to put down.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's a possibility. The other possibility is buying a new move-in ready home by the builders, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah. The builders are making it hard to ignore buying new.
Yes. Yeah.
It's really, some of that is just, for some people, it's just about affording the new homes. That's really it.
Yeah. Well,
no, if you're a 400,000, below 500,000 buyer right now, the new homes are tough.
It's hard to find anything under 500. In certain pockets, there are homes under 500. Like Century Communities has some over there in Sky Canyon, and they have some great incentives, which we're going to go over very, very soon. But there's a lot of opportunity in new home construction right now.
Yep. You're looking at some of those types of those are bigger homes too. Those Century over
they're like
there.
1,800.
Oh, you're talking about the ones,
not the Skycrest, but Marvella.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that they had those other ones up there. Yeah, those are actually very affordable.
Yeah.
And in what's the other Sky?
There's Eagle Point, Sunstone.
Sunstone.
But they don't have Century Communities in Sunstone. They only have 3 builders, which is Lennar, Woodside, and Shea Homes. Oh, interesting information. I did find out, last year, I think it was last year or this year, Richmond American sold to a Japanese company called Suzuki, which is owned by Woodside Homes.
Mm-hmm.
So Woodside Homes, Shawwood, which is going to be in Summerlin, and Richmond American are owned by the same Japanese company. I was speaking to a rep the other day, and she was telling me that in 2026, they're going to rebrand. So there will no longer be Richmond American Homes. I don't know what they're going to rebrand to, but just tidbit information.
Yeah. C'est la vie, Richmond.
Yeah. Well, you can't be an American company owned by Japanese.
Oh,
Richmond American, and you're owned by a Japanese company.
I see. Well, you can be, but
But
it
yeah,
doesn't.
it doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
So months of inventory, we're at 3 months of inventory, which is just slightly down 1% from the prior month, but up 21.6% from the prior year. So then I went and analyzed these numbers, and basically in 2023, we were at 2.5 months of inventory. And in 2022, we were at 4.6 months of inventory. So we're kind of in between the two, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's a medium price between those two. So we're at 3 months of inventory, which is not still a lot of inventory out there. And we thought that we would be having more and we'd be getting a
little
lot,
more,
but it's to me, I'm seeing more stabilization than anything.
Yes, really, that's the surprising news in my opinion, because of all these pressures that were there. It really seems like Vegas is doing so well, and not just seems, we are. I think 4.6. It might have gone to 4.8 by the end of the year on 2022, and that is the highest we've seen for years.
Well, no, so we saw the highest actually in September. Because that's when we started seeing the decline towards the end of the year. And then in January, it's just kept on going down.
So you're talking 2022,
yes,
right? That's right. Okay. So
4.8 was probably a month before in September or August.
That makes sense.
And then we just started seeing it to slowly chip away.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it's just something to mark her down, because 4.8 months of inventory is the highest we've seen in some time. Like it was all the way back in 2022, and you go back to, I think, prior to pre-pandemic, before we had inventory that high prior to that, or close, somewhere around there.
Well, here's the graph.
Oh yeah, you can put that graph up. That's great.
So yeah 2022, which was, I can't tell what month that was.
You can
it was
see,
like 4.8.
So I mean, look how long it was since we had.
Yeah, in 2018, we had it four months of inventory, but then it goes down. So there's always a pattern. It just depends on how steep that pattern is, right? Depending on the seasons. So we always get the top, and then we just start going down, and then we go back up, and we go back down.
Yeah,
it's always like that.
I just find that really interesting, and it's telling that we're not in this. It's better, but we are not in this crazy, like, overloaded inventory time.
Yeah, definitely. We're not nowhere near what we were in 2022.
Yeah.
Or, and it had been a long time since then. 22 was like the max that we hit for years, right?
Yeah.
Before that whole great crash.
Mm-hmm.
Because after that, on 2008, the market just was like inundated with lots of inventory, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I say, it was total on market was closer to above 10,000. Like that was the usual total market, not single family.
Oh yeah, I always look at single family. So then this is interesting, and it kind of ties into what we were saying. 58.9% of the closings was on the market for 30 days or less. 61.5% for the prior month. And then this time last year was at 67.2%. So that means houses are staying on the market much longer. If you are a seller, unless it's like priced right, updated really nice in a great area, don't expect to sell your home in days.
Yeah.
Anticipate it to sell at least 30 days or more.
Give it 30 days.
If you sell under 30 days, then
yeah, excellent.
Great job, right?
Yeah. That's been my experience. And so sometimes people start to freak out when they're a seller, like, oh, we've been on the market.
I freak out. I don't like it when my listing's on over 30 days.
But it's the market, and I'm seeing so much of this inventory out there right now it's almost like not real inventory because it's so overpriced, or it's not. So we have so many on the market, but then you take out a chunk that's like, people can't even really consider this.
Right.
That's not going to sell.
Sellers have this unrealistic belief that if they price it high, people are going to ask a much lower price anyway to begin with. Mm-hmm. So that's why they price it over the value.
But if you have a a same old house compared to like all your competition around you, and you're like thousands or tens of thousands more than the other one. What are you thinking?
But the problem is if you still price it high, that means less buyers are going to be coming to your door. So they're not going to even be making offers.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. People, I mean, unless you're in like a very, very limited, like some parts of Summerlin where there's super limited inventory.
If you watch a lot of these HGTV shows about the investments, they always say, and I say this all the time, you always need to list your home at or below market value to get the right people in the door, because the first 2 weeks of your listing is the most crucial. And if you have it overpriced to begin with, expecting them to ask for a lower price, you have this false misbelief that maybe happened 20 years ago, right? But that's not how the market is right now. You need to present and list your home either just like slightly below or right at, right?
Yeah, or you're just not too far. What I'm seeing a lot is that people think that, okay, I have this comparable sale across the street from me, same house as mine. But what they did on that same house as yours is they completely upgraded everything, and they sold for $100,000 more. And you're trying to say, well, now I can get that next.
Right. It's not apples to apples. It's more
people aren't falling for that. They'll walk into your house, see the linoleum, and say, I'm not buying this house for that. So that's what I'm seeing, is that people are trying to, you could do in the past when there was less inventory, you could say you could keep going up the ladder. Even if you didn't have all the upgrades, you could sell your home because there was no other inventory. There was no other competition.
Right.
But now you have more of that competition. So it's really silly to try to, to not be honest with your property and be honest with yourself about what that value is.
Yeah, the most best improvement you can do to your house that has the best return on investment is a fresh coat of paint, especially if your house is rainbow and with all these colors and everywhere. Neutral, fresh coat of paint throughout. And if you have carpeting that has stains on it, new carpeting, it does wonders. It's amazing how much it just elevates it, right?
Sight, sounds, and smells.
Exactly.
Walk in that home. People fall in love before they walk in, but it's an extra boom when they walk in and everything hits them like it should.
Right. So that's it for the numbers, which is kind of crazy. But we have
couple of questions. Yeah.
Couple questions, and then we're going to go over to new construction. Spicy Noodles said Shawwood makes beautiful homes. I'm super excited. I cannot wait to see this product. I do believe I found out in a builder expo I went to that they're going to be opening February of next year.
Okay. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Really, I want to see this.
And then also FYI, Alton by KB Homes in Summerlin will have their grand opening in December 7th of this year. I recently just did a video on it. And then Edgewood by TriPoint Homes will start their VIP tours on December 7th, but they'll probably give it the chance for the VIPs to buy first. And then maybe a week later, they'll open it to the public. So those are the two most recent new construction communities, Summerlin West, Grand Park District, that's opening this year.
Yeah. Do you know anything about the Taylor Morrison that's up there?
Lark Hill?
It does single story?
Yes. It's not. Yes. It's called Ashland.
Okay.
And they're going to open in January. They're all single story homes. They're a little larger homes. They have yet to announce the floor plans, but they do all have 3-car garages. Yep. I would imagine, knowing Taylor Morrison, especially when we had Savannah, they're going to probably be those flower names, because mostly Taylor Morrison does the flower names. Yeah. But I think they're going to be bigger single story homes.
That's something to look forward to. And that's why I mentioned them, because we have been talking about how we're not really seeing that get built up there. But I saw those that are building them. So
yeah. Did you go drive up there?
Yeah.
You have to go. You need to go up there like every week.
I know, it's changing fast.
It's amazing how much it grows. And then Glen Rock by Toll Brothers, which I will be posting a video on Monday about, they're going to have basements.
Whoa.
Basements.
Really?
Yep.
The heck are you going to do? Wow.
Walkout terrace, basement.
That's in Summerlin West?
Summerlin West, okay. Glen Rock, Toll Brothers, humongoid houses. There's going to be single story and 2-story. Again, watch my YouTube channel on Monday where I'm going to go into detail about all the different floor plans that they have.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that too.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have Brantley by Pulte coming soon over there in Summerlin West as well. And they're going to have 9 different floor plans to choose from. They're going to have their single story collection and their 2-story collection. And that's exciting as well.
So would you say the builders are setting up for some big years ahead?
They are. Now in Summerlin, these builders, let me tell you, their base pricing is starting in the millions, folks.
Yeah.
The most affordable community that you'll be able to afford in that area is going to be Alton by KB Homes.
Yeah.
And they're starting in the low to high 600s, depending on collection. And everywhere else is going to be starting in the low to mid millions, just for base price. That doesn't include lot premiums or structural options or upgrades.
It makes sense. And that kind of goes into one of the questions we have. Would you say that new home builds are priced appropriately? It's a tricky question, right?
Hi, Olivia. We've been chatting today. Depending on the area, right? You know, Summerlin has gotten really cray-cray, and you can find the same house somewhere else for $300,000 or $400,000 less. You're paying for the
location,
the name, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like paying for Hollywood living in LA, right?
So yeah,
It's kind of like you're paying for the location.
It's a little bit like paying for Lexus, even though you could get a Toyota Camry.
Right. Well, I don't know if you use a Lexus like a Mercedes or a Beamer, and then
Well, the Toyota makes the Lexus.
I get it.
So I'm just saying, it's like
yeah.
You could find the Toll Brothers home over in another area, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. That's a good analogy.
Maybe not with the basements though.
So there's going to be a lot happening in Summerlin West, and then there's going to be a new village called La Madre Peaks, and I've already started seeing some builders going to be happening there, but it's amazing the price points that they're starting. Now, in other parts of the valley, like she's looking at Arrow Peak and Alpine Ridge, there's a pretty reasonable price compared to southern areas. So yeah, you got
to go out and kick some tires and see what works for you. But yes, I think there are appropriately priced new builds, and partially because of what she's going to end up telling us about that. She's, Ange has a bunch of information. It's going to come down to what they can do on rates and so if you love, not just like, but love a new home, brand new home, these are things you need to know, because, are there move-in ready or negotiable, Olivia? In some areas, yes.
I'm going to go over that.
Yeah.
But we have another question by Cheryl Jones.
Okay. You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Hi, this is a 2-part question, and I'm not sure if I know the second half, but hi, what about the water issue in Vegas? And is Vegas a sanctuary city? Do you know if Vegas is a sanctuary?
I don't even know what that means. Can you explain?
It has to do with immigration and whether we would we sort of protect them from being taken out of the city or something like that.
I have no idea.
Sanctuary for immigrants is what it has to do with. I don't think we are.
I don't think so. Because that would be something we would have heard of.
Yeah, I don't think we are official. I know California has a bunch like that, and some other areas in the West Coast, but I don't think we are. The first part, the water issue. What
water issue?
Yeah. The water issue in Vegas is here's the real issue. It's a West Coast issue. It's in a total of the West Coast, because Vegas has actually solved its water issue to some degree
30 years ago.
Yeah. Well, and more recently with the second intake at Lake Mead. But what's important to know is that we are on the cutting edge compared to anything in the whole damn country, maybe the world, when it comes to water conservation here in Las Vegas, and it's continuing. So if you're worried about water here, they're way ahead of us.
We don't even use the allotted amount that's given to us. That's how conservative we are with water. But we don't have like rations and days we can't turn water on.
Yeah.
I mean, for the last 25, 30 years, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been very proactive. They started a watering schedule. I'm not going to go into detail about it.
Right.
And then most recently, a lot of the master plan communities had to convert like their entrances and their community into desert landscaping and put the turf and the rocks and stuff to eliminate a lot of the waste of water usage in those areas.
Yep.
They're still going to have grass in the parks and the golf courses, but they've eliminated a lot. And so Arizona, California, especially Southern California,
Utah.
New Mexico, Utah, they use the same water, and everyone thinks Vegas is the one.
Yeah, I think exactly. I think if you're worried about a water problem, don't move to the West Coast.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, like that's.
Well, put it this way. I'm never, you've been here. He's a Vegas born.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here for 30 plus, maybe 40 years. It's not even on the top of my head to worry about.
No, other than just being cautious and not being wasters of water. I mean, you know, that's
right.
Here's the statement from Southern Nevada Water Authority, and I love it. Being a lifelong desert rat, I love it. They want our city to be the desert that it is. So we want to reflect that in our city. So you're not going to come here and expect to see lush, landscapes.
Well, we do have a lot of trees, but they're, they're desert trees.
They're low water trees mostly. So all the new planting and everything is, but so you're not going to expect to see that we are trying to become something that we aren't. We're not going to become North Carolina where we suddenly have, pine trees everywhere or trees everywhere. Put it that way. So let's be the desert we are. If you don't like the desert, then don't move to Las Vegas.
Well
Pretty
said.
simple.
Yeah.
And that's what the goal is.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
AdGo, any info regarding installing additional cell towers? Cell phone coverage is challenging in some areas.
They're specifically speaking of Summerlin West, I would think.
Could be. I mean, I've noticed over the years it's much better than what it used to be.
It's gotten better.
I mean, when I'm over in Stonebridge area, I don't ever have drop calls anymore like I used to. That's not something we really pay attention to.
You don't. Every carrier can have different coverage.
Right.
So I will tell you that, like, as a T-Mobile user, there's areas like when I'm in downtown Summerlin, sometimes I have a little bit less.
And that's everybody. Downtown Summerlin is like it's a Faraday cage.
Yes. Right. So they are saying yes, Summerlin West. So we do have some spots, but first of all, if you're living there, you get Wi-Fi, and they have the internet coverage is not a problem there. So once you're living there in your home, you're not, maybe on your way home, you could have a little spotty, but again, we don't notice it too much. And we're there.
Yeah. I remember like 2 years ago, I remember when we were driving up to Lake Mead to 215 in that Summerlin South area. It was always like getting drop calls.
Okay.
I mean, Summerlin North, sorry. Summerlin, Sun City, Summerlin. When you're going up Lake Mead to the 215, that little area between Sun City, Summerlin and the 215 was always just bad reception, but now it's much better. So I haven't, and I'm a T-Mobile user too, and I haven't really, and I'm always up in Summerlin West. I haven't noticed it bad on my side.
Yeah.
Like it used to be. I remember like 2018, it was just so bad up there.
Yeah. So the more that gets built, the more that you have less to worry about in that way.
Yeah. Anyway, folks, we're going to talk about new construction and new construction incentives. As we've been saying for the last 3 years, this time of year is the best time to buy. This month is the best time to buy because why, Rob?
You caught me off guard. I was just listening.
Builders are trying to make their year-end numbers.
Yes, okay.
And they're trying to close out so they can have a great year. So right now, I'm seeing some really, really, really great things happening right now. All right. So there's 2 things I want to talk about. Then we're going to go into what the incentives are. The first thing is when you want to buy a new construction home, always bring your real estate agent with you on the very first visit if you want them to represent you. Mm-hmm. If they don't, and then you registered and then you say, oh, Angela, I want you. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. The builders are like, nope, they weren't with you. They can't represent you. Number 2, I always get a lot of comments on my videos about Why should I have you as my agent when I'm buying a new construction home and building from ground up?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Although they may think that we don't have our worth, it's important, regardless, to have a real estate agent on your side, even if you're buying new construction, move-in ready, or building from ground up. When you build from ground up, we are there. We ask questions that you may have thought of, not have thought of. We may still be able to get you some incentives, believe it or not, depending on if you know the builder and the agents and how well they like you. No, I'm just kidding. And then also, especially those that are moving from out of town, as your agent, will be there during your frame walkthrough. If you can't make it, if you make it, great, we'll be there. It's always great to have an experienced agent on your side doing those walkthroughs because they know what to look for.
Yeah.
Not only that, you're communicating between the builder, the lender, and the title company. You're facilitating all of that. The builder's agent is there to represent the builder, where we're here to represent you as the buyer. They have the builder's best interest where we have your best interest. Not only that, we're there every step of the way. I go to my clients' design studio appointments. I'm there for a sounding board to help you pick options that are not to spend a lot of money, but they're nice and to help save what's going to be cost effective for resale value. Okay. Then we also do final walkthrough with the builder. We're there every step of the way. The new home sales agent doesn't do any of that.
No.
So that's
you're flying with no no wing person if you go into these places.
Exactly. I literally hold your hand.
Yeah. And I would also say that you're creating a relationship, not just for in that moment of purchasing, but for the long term. If you've got a really good agent, you should want to keep them around for as long as they are around, as long as we're in business.
Well, it's about building relationships.
Yeah. And so, you never know when it comes time to need some information to do other purchases, to sell the property that you bought. Those are all good reasons to have had an agent with you along the way that knew everything about the way that went down.
Right. So for resale, they know about the house. When in the future, if you want to sell it, they know everything about that house.
Yeah. And so not everything that Ange mentioned is enough, but I think that I would just add that last little bit.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So the reason why I feel now is the best time to buy is because I have two examples of two new construction homes that I just went under contract and where I snagged a phenomenal deal. Okay. So the first one was I went under contract in Heritage Stonebridge by Lennar Homes, which is a 55+ retirement community in Summerlin West. It was listed asking price. It's a move-in ready home at $561,029. We offered $480,000. They came back and countered at $487,990, which is $73,000 and change off of asking price. Plus, I got them 2% towards closing costs. Yeah, that's the deal of the year.
Yeah, that is a big deal, and this is exactly what we're talking about with understanding what's happening as a seller. The new home builder knows we have to get this done. We have to get it. Let's go ahead and make it happen.
Right.
And
they're paying my commission. The buyers are paying my commission. The builders are still paying the commission.
Wonderful.
And I was able to get 2.5 for Lennar.
Wow.
Which is unheard of.
You should have gotten more.
Yeah, I wasn't going to be greedy. I was just risking. They got 73,000. Obviously at the end of the day, it's what my clients can get, right? And if I can get that 2.5%, I'm happy, right?
Of course. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
you did good work
there. And then my second one was at Monument at Reverence, which is by Pulte Homes. They're townhomes, and let's see, the asking price was $607,000. We offered $575,000. They countered back at $580,000, which was $27,000 off of asking price. Plus, they're getting an additional $15,000, roughly, or 3% towards their closing costs.
Yeah.
So this is why you need an agent when you buy new construction. And I have other prime examples, but I'm not going to go into it. of new construction Trilogy Sunstone where I've gotten like 15, 20,000 off, and this house hasn't even been built.
That's great. Yeah, that's a big one because a lot of times on the ones that aren't being built, they're not
Right.
dealing. I got to ask you a question because we talked about, if you're if you're a seller right now, you don't want to overlist your property, right? Because you're going to end up doing. Do you believe when you look at this? Because when I look at these numbers, I say to myself, the builder cost themselves money, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
They lost some money
Because if they had 607. I don't know if they brought it down to 599. Do you think maybe it would have sold faster and for more?
Could be.
I mean, I'm just, spitballing.
But, with that here, and maybe they are just like traditional sellers where they overlist.
I think they did.
Then you think you're getting a great deal, but some people will just accept that number, right? Whereas you need an experienced agent that can just say, hey, let's arm wrestle for you and let's see what we can get.
Absolutely. I mean, it's because it's our experience that's going to go in there, and we smell when we got an opportunity to do that.
Well, especially when I've worked with a lot of these builder sales reps, and they know me, right? Yeah. So you build a reputation with them, and you know what you can get away with and what you can't.
Yeah, they will kind of let you know, hey,
right,
with this one right here, if we can do this one,
So what I'm saying is the builders are trying to get rid of their inventory so they can make their year-end numbers right now. And I've been saying this and I've been correct for the last 3 years, is the best time to buy, because not only can you get a lower price, but you can also get better interest rates. And we're going to go over all the builders that are having phenomenal deals right now. Okay.
Yeah. These rates are the reasons, 100% the reason why these properties are selling at the clip that they have been.
Yeah.
And I can tell you a little bit about what I've learned about. We'll get into this, but what I've learned about rates and what they're doing is that they go in bulk buy rate.
Mm-hmm.
So before while that community is being built, they'll go in bulk buy rates so that's how they can. Now they try to get it back in the price of the homes,
right?
But they sometimes, in this case, I think they're having to, slide back a little bit and say, okay, well, not necessarily. They're not taking a loss. They're just not making as much.
Right? They do, like Century Communities, Richmond American. They will continuously always have the same type of programs going on. They just kind of change it every week or so, but they buy, like you said, they buy with the lender. And that way they have this amount of money in their pocket to use towards these programs.
Yep. They've already pre-bought these 3-2-1s, which can be very advantageous.
Right.
These are not, I say this, these are not the adjustables of the past. These are very advantageous.
Yeah, they are adjustable rates, but by the third or fourth year, you're locked in from till 30 years.
You're locked in, and you're still locked in lower than rates you can get
right now
anywhere else.
And so maybe by the third year, say you got a 2, 3, and 4.99, and in 2 or 3 years, the interest rates go down to 3%, then you can refinance it.
Yeah. It's a very advantageous deal.
And it's a brand new home, never lived in. You don't have to worry about other people's design choices or wear and tear.
You've got warranties, you've got mechanical things you don't have to worry about breaking down on you for a number of years.
And there's a huge shortage of land in Las Vegas right now, and it's a big issue going on. If you look at their RJ, they continuously talk about how shortage of land is, and I think we could grow more with new construction if they were able to release some land. But right now, some communities aren't even building yet, and what we have is what we have, and there may not be much new construction.
Yeah, we'll see.
Besides Summerlin.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Century Communities has their Move Now on Your Dream Home event. You get unbelievable savings when you use their Century Communities affiliated lender, Inspire Home Loans. Right now, they're having their 3-2 or 2-to-1 buy down, where you get 3.875% interest rate for the first year and 4.875% interest rate from years 2 through 30 when you use FHA or VA loans. Now, if you're doing a conventional, it's a 30-year fixed at 5.5% on a conventional, or they will give you up to 35,000 towards closing costs, which could be used to also buy down those rates and use it towards closing costs.
Yeah. Okay. So that you can, if you're using your own lender outside or something,
Right.
which sounds a
Well,
little
no, you
crazy.
have to use their lender to get any of those
Okay.
incentives.
Okay.
All of these builders require them to use their affiliated lender or their actual lender.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So rates are available from now, and they have to close until December 31st. Now, Century Communities is known for having this for a few days, and they're going to change it. So if you want a Century Communities home, they have some beautiful ones in Sky Canyon. I can really wine and dine you there and take advantage of these low interest rates. Call me this weekend. We can go look.
Yeah, get on it.
Get on it, because it's ever changing, right?
And it's really, we're approaching the end of the month.
Yes.
And I think that's where you're going to
Well, this is it, folks.
Yep.
To me, this is it. They may have a little in December, but once those interest rates start going down, you better believe these builders are not going to be having these incentives, because they're going to be competitive to what the market is offering. They may have some closing cost incentives per se, but they're not going to have interest rate incentives.
Yeah, and I just think that you're beating out other competition as far as other buyers to get in there and get this done. If you put the pedal to the metal. A lot of people are going to be caught up in holidays, so if you can get out of that for a second and go buy your home, next year your holidays are going to be fantastic.
Well, and I have a lot of clients that are still buying building from ground up. I have 7 closings next year just in new construction, building from ground up. I'm going to see more of that trend going forward, I do believe. Whereas I think some of these builders may stop doing a lot of the move-in ready homes, maybe not right now, but maybe as time progresses, I think they may stop and build on demand.
Yeah. Well, that would definitely be something that they're going to keep their finger on the temperature here,
right?
Because on the pulse, because if they see that there's continued low activity, as far as not as the buyers aren't shooting up because interest rates are lower and more people are diving in, then they're going to say, we don't really want to get ahead of ourselves.
Well, 3 years ago or pre-pandemic, the builders weren't doing move-in ready homes. You'd be lucky if you found one, and you'd be lucky to get one, because they would snap like that, right?
Yeah.
And then there's builders like Lennar, Century, a couple of others I can't think of right now. They only do spec homes. They don't do building from ground up where you pick your options. It's more advantageous, or probably more cost effective, if they just keep that market or that building, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. For sure.
Anyway, so then speaking of Lennar homes, also real quick with Century, they're the only builder that you can buy your home online. In fact, once your agent shows you the community, you don't make the deal through the agent. You still make the deal and you tell them, but they have to apply online. And then that's when they start communicating, because it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting how it works. So Lennar is having their Black Friday inventory event at 4.99% fixed interest rate, plus receive 2% off sales price on a flex credit, valid towards closing costs, and if you want to buy down the rate additionally. Offers are available when you sign a purchase agreement from now until November 17th and close by December 24th. And of course, you have to use Lennar Mortgage for that.
Okay. So yeah, wait, there's also one that says close by January 24th.
Did I say January?
You said December.
Oh, I meant January 24th, closed by January 24th.
Yeah, because December 24th would be a little bit of a tight.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Pulte is offering, now Pulte, depending on community, has actually different incentives. So right now as a whole, Pulte's having their 30-year fixed 4.99% interest rate on select quick move-in homes, which is still better than 7% that we're seeing now, right? Yeah. And depending on the community and depending on when they closed, you could probably get a better interest rate, especially for the American West Pulte homes. I do believe they're having 2.99, 3.99, and 4.99. Anyway, you must go under contract now and close by February 28th of next year.
So a little bit of time.
Yeah, they got a little bit of time. And Pulte always has like something going on with their interest rates, which I like about them.
Yeah, I would imagine those old those American West style homes. Those are all in the South, right? It's
Yes, Southwest.
Southwest,
Yeah.
Southwest.
Yeah.
Those are going to be ones where you can get some real deals working.
So we have a few questions, but we're going to just finish this off and then we'll answer those.
Yeah.
Now, Richmond American is having their special financing while supplies last or funds last. Must be under contract by November 17th. CC's theme right now. Today's the 12th. That's what, 5 days? You need 5 days to go buy a house and close by the end of this year, December 31st. And of course, you have to use their preferred lender, American Home Mortgage. So you can get a fixed interest rate for a VA and FHA, it's 4.99%. And then for conventional, it's 5.5%. Now, they also have a 2-to-1 buy down offer, and you get 3.5% on an FHA loan. You get 3.5% for the first year, 4.5% for the second year, and 5.5% from years 3 through 30.
Mm-hmm.
And then for conventional, you get 3.99% the first, 4.99 the second, and 5.99 from years 3 through 30.
I would look into that for sure.
Yeah, those are great. Now, again, Richmond Americans always, just like Century Communities, they're always like changing. So by the 17th, they'll have another program, but it probably won't be as good as this one.
Yeah, this one looks like it's the big push
Big
weekend.
push, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, Toll Brothers is having their 30-year fixed 2-to-1 buy down program on a limited quick move-in homes. You get 3.99% interest rate on the first year, 4.99 the second, and 5.99 from years 3 through 30. And it's available on homes that close by the end of this year, December 31st.
That's the big caveat with them.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's all of them for the most part. There was only one that was in January.
Well, two of them had. One of them had January, February. One had February.
February, which was Pulte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but for Toll Brothers, the fact that they take
and they rarely do those types of
that's
incentives.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Taylor Morrison is having their Right Time Right Now event, and they're offering a limited fixed interest rate of 5.49%, 30-year fixed rate. Again, must enter into contract by November 30th and close by December 31st.
All right.
Woodside, and Woodside rarely has incentives. They're having their Snuggle Up Savings Fall event. From now until November 24th, you save the rate on a 2-to-1 buy down event. When you use their moving home, their lender, for the first year, you get 3.5% interest rate. Second year, 4.5, and years 3 through 30, 5.5, and must use the preferred lender and close by December 31st.
All right.
Those are great deals, folks.
Yeah.
And, Woodside, they have this nice collection over in Sunstone. They have the Lear 1 and 2, and they also have Luna. I think that's almost nearing completion, and Estrella, I think, is almost done too. Anyway, questions.
We got some questions here, huh? Or do we?
All right.
Several of them.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So you want to do Adam?
Always there's Adam. Nice to finally catch up with you guys live. Still watching after 3 years. Hey, thanks, Adam. Awesome.
And I remember where you live, Adam. I don't know exactly where you live, but I know where you live. No, I'm just kidding.
You want to get the notes?
Oh, my throat's starting to hurt.
All right. Is the city of Vegas and surrounding areas building the street, freeway, etc., for all traffic and cars on the highway? So you're saying, are we doing? Yeah, there's always road construction out here. So yeah, there's always more. They're trying to make it easier to get around. And it's not bad to get around. If you've been here long enough, it's gotten worse because it used to be really nice.
Well, we're getting overpopulated. We're at 2.4 million in the valley.
Nothing like California's traffic. So
right.
If you're worried about traffic, you don't have really anything to worry about for a while.
Yeah, we have 3 freeways.
Yeah.
There's always a way of maneuvering it.
Yeah.
And buy a home close to work so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. Which walkthrough would you recommend a third-party inspector to join, pre-drywall or the final?
Well, unfortunately, most builders, if not all, will not allow a pre-drywall walkthrough by a third party. The only walkthrough that they will allow is the final home inspection, because what they do is every step of the way, before they can lay foundation, they have to get it approved. Once they lay the foundation, before they can do the studs, they have to get approved. Before the drywall, every step of the way it has
Yeah.
to be approved. So the only third party inspection, most builders, if not all, is the final home inspection.
Yeah. And a couple of details on that would be, when she says approved, the builder has to you're basically getting inspected by the city people,
Yes.
right? So you
Right.
do have an inspection happening. Okay, that's the city. So these things are city or county or whatever is dealing with that. And then the inspector has to go. They do make them jump through some hoops
Yes.
sometimes so you have to make sure you get an inspector who's willing to jump through those hoops. That means they're a good inspector if they do that.
Yeah. So, the builders, if you do buy from ground up, will have a pre-drywall inspection where they'll go over the home with you, mainly to just show you where all the electrical is that you had selected, especially if you upgraded any of your electrical, where the plumbing is located, etc. It's just basically to go the inside of the house to see what the inner workings of the house looks like.
Yeah.
And also, speaking of home inspectors, they do make you go through hoops, and they make those home inspectors provide like 5-10 different documents. And, there's one company that I highly recommend to use that deals with these builders in all day long. And so they are familiar with what's needed for them or required.
Yeah. You got to have somebody that knows to do that, because otherwise they're going to be frustrated.
Yep.
So this Larry says, California building new homes, and I'm thinking, where are all these cars going to drive? Yeah, California. Well, a lot of people are moving here, so that'll thin the herd a little bit. There appears to be some freeway expansion underway in the Northwest. Oh yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, well, what they're adding is like a walk thing over, and they may add another inbound lane going in or whatever. It's not really an expansion, to be honest with you. It's just fixing like an overhead pass.
Okay.
Over there.
Yeah, they made that whole area, when you get to the intersection,
Centennial Parkway area and road.
Yes,
like really
so much better than it's been. So really, the Northwest and North is very easy to get around.
Oh, I love the Northwest.
Yeah. Let's see.
We have amazing freeways. Yep.
Thanks for the feedback. You're
Takes
welcome.
An hour and a half to get to work in the mornings and 2 hours. Is this in LA, Larry? Definitely not here in Vegas. Unless you're all the way in Hendo and going to the Northwest.
No, that is definitely in LA, and I know that's a big upgrade when you want to get away from California. Yeah, get away from.
Traffic is already really bad around the Strip. I don't even go that way.
Well, yeah,
I don't even go the 215. I hate the 215.
Yeah.
I just avoid that like the plague.
They're trying to make it better, by the way, Adam. As you may know, around the Strip, one of the reasons why it's so bad is because they're doing that Tropicana. And they're going to have baseball stuff.
I just want to complain about that real quick and put my 2 cents in. What the heck were they thinking of putting that A stadium right there? There's so much land further down. Why would they just make it such a clusterfuck?
Yeah, well, everybody wants to be on the prime territory,
It's still going to do well. Allegiant is not right, on the Strip. Yeah. They should have gone further down. My 2 cents, folks.
Yeah, well, but even Allegiant, they squeezed it in there, and they don't have enough parking.
Is bad.
So what?
They just weren't thinking.
Well, they really do want to be on that prime Strip location as much as possible, and they will sacrifice things to do it. We'll see if it's sacrificing people going to your stadium or your ballpark. That'll be a problem. So far, not a problem with Allegiant at all.
Oh, Trell's under contract. Woodside Homes lured, and you didn't use me. Shame on you, Trell. My goodness.
Yeah.
or him. Thanks for the builder agent. Made it seem like you could bring an inspector to any phase. Nope.
They might not be aware.
Not Woodside.
And see, this is part of the problem that I have not going unrepresented, because they will make it seem like all kinds of things.
Right.
Like they're, there's stuff that really just frustrates us when we hear about it. Good luck. I'm sure it'll be fine, but you may have some frustrating moments.
Adam, you live in the party home community right there, or now Tri-Point. That gated community was part of like the second phase, I think. I remember when I sold a home in there, and it was like way overpriced. It was like for that community, almost $1 million. It was crazy. Anyway, that's it.
That's it. We just got the numbers to go over real quick.
All right, real quick, we are going to go over who won the bets.
Well, let's see.
Rob said for median price that we would have a 3,500 decrease. I said 3,000 decrease, and the median price decreased by 43.69. Rob won this one, but I finally am back on top. No.
Yeah.
Rob said houses without offer, single family homes, 6,000. I said 5,700. It was 5,784. I won that bet. Months of supply, Rob said 3.4%. I mean 3.4 months. I said 3.3, and it was at 3 months, so I won that as well.
Yeah, that's. But we're still a little surprised that we had. We were seeing that resistance point.
Yeah, we were thinking that the prices would go down and inventory will go up, but now I'm seeing more stability.
Yeah, more stability. We should see more. I think we'll, just to wrap it up, I think we'll see more median price softening, but we're not going to see the inventory fly through the roof. It's
not going to be a fire sale, and it's not going to be, oh no, the world is
there are opportunities out there. There are sellers that want to get out, and if they need to sell right now and get out there, they don't have all the buyers to sell to right now. So, they might want to make deals with you.
Yep. All right, so I went first last time. You get to go first this time.
Okay. Median price. I think I'm going to go ahead and say that we have.
Wow. That was
Whoops.
No, I'm looking for my notepad. That's all Damien's crap.
I'm going to say, I got to say another 4,500. Decrease? Yeah.
Okay.
And this is part of the deal shopping that I'm talking about. I think that's happening a lot. I think sellers are taking some lighter than list offers, and they are lowering their prices.
So you're going to say 4,500 decrease?
Mm-hmm. Even though we had a big one, I'm taking a risk, folks, and going at another medium, let's say medium size median decline.
Right. Oh.
Well, there's no way you're tempted to go above me, is there?
No.
Well, then, all right.
Well,
you just want to get it right on the nose, don't you?
I'm just going to stick to, I don't think it's going to be as drastic because of the uptick. I'm going to say 3,500 decrease. All right. So that means without offers. So right now we're at 5784. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to see it. It didn't increase much from the prior month. I'm going to say 5,900.
All right. Well, I'm going to price is right you in the worst way. 5,901.
All righty.
But I think you went up a little bit more than I would have thought, but 5,901.
Well, it's at 57.
Yeah.
I just went 200 more than what it is now.
Yeah. I think since we were last, you're right, because since we were last doing this, I think it went up, and then I think it stopped, and now I'm seeing incrementally. So I think you're right. I mean, we're both going to be close. All
right. Months of supply.
Months of supply. So if let me do a little math here. I'm going to stick with I'll stick with 3.4. Yeah, I think that's a hard number for you to choose from. So.
No, actually, I think I'm going to go with 3.2.
Okay.
I'm not going to see it much go up because it didn't go much last time. It didn't go up but like $100 or so. So I'm going to stick to, because I didn't go up much without offers, and I didn't.
You're right.
So I'm keeping it very stable.
Yeah.
Very conservative.
Yeah.
That's the word. All right, folks. Let's see if there's any other questions, and we're going to wrap this up.
We did a long one again. Oops.
Always. Come on.
Get it out of there. All right. No.
Traffic is way better here. The traffic lights take forever. They can.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, we really appreciate all of the questions and the interaction. That's what makes me happy. I'm very happy when we get the interaction.
Yeah.
And we really, really, really appreciate you supporting our channel and watching it. Stay tuned to next month. See how the market ends.
Yeah, we did a lot of stuff that we can check back on.
The most important message you can get from this market update is call me or Rob if you want to go looking for new construction homes this weekend. Move-in ready so we can get you a good deal.
Yeah.
Right.
That's no joke.
Yep.
That's no joke.
I've been right $70,000
off the property, you might get it.
Right? 3 years in a row, I've been saying this.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Rock on.
And do it peacefully. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.